In 1942, in the vast deserts of North Africa, a mission was planned in the shadows. It would move without records. It would strike without credit. And when it was over, it would vanish. This is the story of an operation that, officially, never existed. The year 1942 marked a turning point in the North African campaign. Armies moved across the desert like drifting storms, driven by supply lines, fuel shortages, and decisions made thousands of miles away. The land was harsh, endless, unforgiving. It erased footprints as quickly as it erased memory. Official histories would later map the broad movements of divisions and corps, but smaller events dissolved into the sand. Amid this shifting landscape, Allied intelligence struggled to keep pace with Axis maneuvers. Reconnaissance was imperfect. Communications were fragile. Desert warfare demanded improvisation. There existed units created specifically to disappear into the dunes, strike quietly, and leave no trace. These men were told little. They signed no papers. Orders were spoken, not written. Their movements were rumors even among friendly forces. Somewhere along the Libyan-Egyptian frontier, a plan began to form. It was simple in concept, but dangerous in execution. A small team would cross deep into contested territory. Their objective: disrupt a critical fuel depot rumored to be supplying Axis armored columns. The depot did not appear on official maps. Neither would the men sent to destroy it. If captured, they would not be acknowledged. If lost, no telegram would be sent. The men chosen came from varied backgrounds: mechanics, sailors, truck drivers who had learned to navigate by stars. None of them spoke publicly of the mission. They were briefed at night, in low-light tents, over sand-covered tables. Photographs were rare. The location was described by landmarks: a dry wadi, a cluster of abandoned huts, a ridge resembling a broken tooth. Equipment was sparse. Vehicles were stripped to essentials. Ammunition and water competed for space. The route was long and uncertain. They would travel mostly at night. During daylight, they would conceal themselves in shallow depressions and wait under canvas shades that failed to block the heat. The desert offered no cover except distance. Radio communication would be minimal. Each man memorized not only the plan, but also the silence surrounding it. There was no name for the operation in official logs. No codename to appear later in archives. It existed only in spoken references. The trip. The run. That thing coming up. Officers avoided discussing it unless necessary. Maps used were burned once memorized. Even routine paperwork avoided mentioning dates or destinations. In the greater flow of the war, it was a tiny event. A flicker within a much larger fire. Yet for the men preparing to vanish into the desert, it was total. Their world narrowed to engines, compass bearings, and the knowledge that success would remain unacknowledged. Failure would be nameless. And so, one night in 1942, the mission began. Engines turned over softly. Headlights remained dark. And the desert accepted them. The small convoy moved east to west, tracing faint tracks left by previous patrols. Wind erased their path within hours. The men rarely spoke. Conserving energy mattered. So did listening. Any distant engine might signal danger. The desert amplified and confused sound. Sometimes the night was so quiet that each heartbeat felt audible. Navigation relied on patience. A single error in bearing could mean death from thirst long before any enemy was encountered. The mission leader, a quiet, worn officer, checked the stars at regular intervals. He marked time in shadows and angles. His confidence steadied the group, though no one knew what doubts he kept to himself. After several days, signs of Axis movement increased. Tracks crossed the sand at irregular angles. Occasional aircraft droned overhead. The men froze in place when planes appeared, lying flat beside their vehicles, hoping the desert swallowed their outline. Supplies grew lighter. Water discipline became absolute. Every drop mattered. At night, stories were whispered. Not about home. Not about families. Those topics were avoided. Instead, the men discussed engines, repairs, rumors of units they might never meet. It was a way to stay grounded, to keep fear at arm's length. The warrant officer reviewed the plan again. The target was near. A remote facility guarded lightly, according to intelligence. A collection of fuel storage drums. Possibly a few sentries. Quick in. Quick out. But intelligence was often incomplete. As they approached the area, the men expected minimal resistance. What they found was different. The depot had grown. Additional vehicles. More guards. Defensive positions hastily constructed but functional. The mission suddenly became far riskier than imagined. Turning back meant failure. Proceeding meant casualties. And yet the success of larger operations might depend on this strike. The fuel here, if destroyed, could immobilize armored units for days. A decision had to be made quickly. The group halted in a concealed ravine. Maps, crude and hand-drawn, were studied once more. Watches were synchronized. Roles reassigned. Silence grew heavy. Each man understood the new odds but accepted them without ceremony. There would be no written record of this moment. No official acknowledgement of the choice. The revised plan relied on surprise. Hit hard. Move fast. Avoid prolonged firefights. If separated, regroup at a prearranged point marked only in memory. As darkness fell, they began the approach on foot. The desert air cooled, but tension rose. The depot glowed faintly under guarded lanterns. Shadows moved. The operation that did not exist was now in motion, stepping toward the unknown. The first explosions shattered the quiet night. Fuel drums erupted into towering flames that lit the desert for miles. Heat rolled outward in violent waves. Axis guards scrambled, shouting into the dark, firing blindly at moving shapes. The raiding party worked with methodical speed, placing charges, igniting reserves, disabling vehicles. Years later, nothing official would mention this moment. But for those present, it burned into memory like the fire before them. Chaos escalated. Searchlights flicked on. Rifles cracked. One of the raiders was hit while retreating from a storage shed. Another dragged him behind a berm, returning fire in short, controlled bursts. Training and instinct kept them moving. This was not a grand battle. It was a brief, ferocious interruption in the rhythm of war. Yet its consequences could ripple far beyond the horizon. The warrant officer directed the withdrawal with calm authority. He carried no insignia that would identify him. His voice remained steady even as tracers sliced the air around them. One vehicle was destroyed during the escape attempt. 2 men never reached the rendezvous point. Whether they were captured, killed, or lost in the vast desert remains unknown. No search parties were sent. No names entered into official missing in action rolls. The mission could not be admitted. Therefore, neither could its losses. By dawn, the flames still smoldered. Blackened drums lay twisted and empty. Axis mechanics surveyed the damage in silence. Supply plans were rewritten. Vehicles were grounded. Schedules slipped. Commanders demanded reports, but few answers satisfied them. Somewhere in the desert, the surviving raiders regrouped with exhaustion etched into every face. The return journey proved even harder. Fuel ran low. Tempers frayed. Sandstorms obscured landmarks. Yet discipline held. They spoke little of the raid itself. There was nothing to celebrate. Nothing official to acknowledge. Only the quiet knowledge that they had changed, in some small way, the unfolding campaign. When they finally reached Allied lines, their arrival passed with minimal notice. Vehicles were refueled. Weapons cleaned. The men were reassigned. Debriefings were brief, undocumented, and concluded without ceremony. The warrant officer submitted no written account. The mission dissolved into conversation, then into memory, then into rumor. And eventually, for most, into nothing at all. In official histories of 1942 North Africa, fuel shortages and logistical challenges are mentioned. But the fire in the desert, the ghost mission, rarely appears. The men who took part faded back into their units. Some survived the war. Some did not. Their operation left no official name. Only a gap in the record. A blank space. And blank spaces are easily forgotten. The mission had no name. It appeared. It acted. Then it was gone. There were no official documents. No signed forms. No trace in the archives. Only men who once drove into the desert. They had watched the flames rise. They had heard the shouts in the dark. They had counted the missing. Then they returned to silence. There were no ceremonies. No speeches. No medals pinned to uniforms. Only routine. Only orders for the next task. The warrant officer said little. He closed his notebook. He folded the map. Both disappeared into storage. Or into fire. Reports mentioned fuel shortages. They spoke of delays. They spoke of disrupted logistics. But they did not say why. They did not say who. The men scattered to new units. They took their silence with them. Some survived the war. Some did not. Their records told other stories. This one remained unwritten. In time, memory faded. Faces blurred. Voices softened. The desert erased the tracks. Wind filled the prints. Sun burned away the signs. The depot was rebuilt. Then abandoned. Then forgotten. Like the men who struck it. Like the mission itself. Historians searched the files. They found gaps. Blank lines. Unexplained shortages. They moved on. War is full of missing pieces. Some vanish by chance. Some vanish by design. This mission was one of those. There was a night in 1942. There was fire in North Africa. There were men who never spoke of it. Now the records are silent. The witnesses are gone. Only the desert remains. And the story sits in the shadows. An operation that never existed. A line that history forgot. Lost. Unacknowledged. Unrecorded. Left to fade into the sand. Thank you for watching. New historical stories are published regularly.